You keep your options open because making a choice feels so final. Like, what if I make the wrong choice? So you research and you weigh and you stay exactly where you are. So here's what I want you to hear. Keeping your options open is really just keeping you in a cage. So today I'm going to show you that making even an imperfect decision is much better than just waiting. And you know that we never leave here without a plan. So grab your notepads and get in, girl. Okay, welcome. Oh my God, y'all. Welcome to Get In, Girl. Contrary to popular belief, keeping your options open is not really just limited to relationships or trying to pick someone today. You've probably kept your options open for things like picking out a gym or picking out a school, maybe going to an event, maybe meeting new friends, or maybe even a job if you're bold. And you might probably be saying like, okay, well, like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm just waiting to see what other options are out there. I just want to make sure that I choose the best decision for me, which is true. That's completely fair. But how do you know if you're actually waiting and making the right decision, collecting all your information, or if you're actually just scared to make a choice? Let's look at a little compare and contrast. So healthy consideration on one hand has bounds, right? Like, you already know all the information that you need. This is what I'm deciding based on. You give yourself a set time frame, you give yourself a deadline, and you make a decision. On the other hand, paralysis, every new day is an opportunity for a new search. Like, you have a new list every single day of the things you want to do. Every new shiny option looks like, you know what, like that could be it. Like, maybe that one's the right answer. And you just never really decide. So consideration actually has a firm finish line, and paralysis, on the other hand, really just keeps moving it. So the next time that you're hooning and hawing on a decision, I want you to ask yourself the summary question. Am I actually waiting for new information to help me make my decision, or am I just stalling and scared to make a choice? Let me tell you how I realized I was guilty of this. So I've told you about Kaleni, my heated shorts for period cramps that I'm currently working on. And when my first supplier backed out, I kind of felt like I was back to the drawing board. I had to find a new supplier. So I already, I searched up 10 new people. I narrowed it down to 4 that, kind of fit everything that I was looking for. And then I just waited. And I can't tell you why exactly I was waiting, but in my mind I was just telling myself like, okay, well, I just need to be sure, right? I just need to make sure that I'm making the right decision. And when I finally ended up placing the order, I literally had to wait 4 weeks for the product to be made before it even shipped, and I had spent half of that time just waiting. So why exactly do smart, capable women like us fall into this trap of just stalling and waiting and keeping our options open, instead of actually just making progress and taking action towards our goals? When you're trying to make a decision on anything, really, it could be something as small as, what gym do I go to? Or should I go to this event to meet new people? There's always 2 sides to every decision. On one hand, there's the thing that you're saying yes to, obviously, but there's also all these other options that you're saying no to. So every time that we're trying to keep our options open, we're essentially just trying to make sure that we're not closing the door on an option that could have been better, right? So we say, okay, I'm just going to wait to see what else is out there. But by doing this, you're essentially just keeping yourself in limbo, because you're neither moving left nor right. You're not making any decision at all. You're not moving forward. You're still in the same exact position, but maybe there might be something better out there, right? Like, imagine if you were driving, right? Like, you're trying to go to the store, you're driving, and then you come to an intersection. You could either take the left way or you could go right. And then you're stuck at the intersection trying to be like, like which way do I go? Which way do I go? That might sound extreme. You're probably being like, okay, like you're being a little dramatic. That's a bit extreme, but that's really the way it is with everything else. Maybe just not on as dangerous of a scale, but that's the way everything else is when you're kind of overwhelmed on making decisions. Because guess what? You could very well go left and then realize like, ooh, shoot, like maybe I should have actually gone right. But guess what? You can always reroute. You could always go down a different road and just like spin the block. And that's the same thing with life. But sitting at the intersection and just hoon and hawing is much more dangerous than making the wrong choice. Plus, you're not actually moving. You're not moving forward on the place that you want to get to. But here's the part that actually keeps you stuck. Keeping your options open is low-key trying to avoid the grief and the responsibility of making a bad choice, right? Nobody wants to feel like they made a bad choice. It's kind of scary to admit that, oh shoot, like I shouldn't have done that. I should have chosen differently. So you never really, fully dive in and commit, because sitting at the edge protects you from making a bad choice and feeling badly about yourself as a result. So really you're just stalling because you're holding yourself to this perfectionistic standard of I cannot make the right choice because making the wrong choice feels like a stain on your character. But here's the reframe. You will never make every single decision of your life completely perfectly all the time. You're going to make a mistake. That's completely inevitable, and you're going to feel badly about it. But guess what? You're going to be fine and you're going to move on eventually, right? So coming to terms with this will literally free you from feeling like you always have to make the right choice, because you will not. Plus, think about my driving analogy, right? Like you can always reroute. There's 1,000,001 ways to get to your goal, to get to the destination that you're going to. So taking the wrong turn is not fatal to your decision. Plus, you have to trust in your ability to actually get back up if you make the wrong turn. You are a smart, capable woman who is fully capable of picking yourself back up and figuring things out if you make the wrong turn. So maybe you should trust in yourself to actually be able to do that. And now if you're ready to actually go from just stalling and waiting to actually being able to take decisive action towards your goals, here's how we're going to do it. The first thing that I want you to do is set your criteria first. Before you start even looking at options, because there's 1,000,000 options, I want you to know what your standards are. I want you to write down 3 to 4 things that you're actually looking for. In this way, when you start looking, every new shiny object doesn't feel like, oh, this could be the one, and you already know what you're looking for up front. Number 2, I want you to set a deadline. Give yourself a certain time frame, right? Okay, I'm going to search for ways to lose weight for 3 days. I'm going to search for, this new job or this new friend or this new event for 3 weeks, whatever it is that you're trying to get. And then I'm going to give myself a set deadline to actually make a choice. And when that deadline comes, I want you to actually make the choice with whatever it is that you have in front of you at the present moment. 3, I want you to pre-plan your reroute. The reroute that I've been talking about this whole time with the driving analogy? I want you to think about that also when you're making the decision. So if this does not work out, I'm going to do this one instead. And that way you're kind of released from the fear of, okay, making this decision is such a final act, because it's really not. And that's the plan for this week. And if you do this on a long enough timeline, you will literally find that you're becoming much more of a decisive person and you're actually taking action towards your goals. You will find that you're no longer just waiting around for God knows what, and you're actually moving forward and always taking action. And you will start to actually trust yourself, because you always have your reroute and you always have your backup plans if things don't go wrong. And what if you're saying like, oh no, but like, what if I don't actually trust myself to, reroute and figure things out if I take the wrong turn? Like, that's why I'm so scared. That's completely fine, because we can fix that. The video that I want you to watch next is the one that I made on self-trust, because we can rebuild back or rebuild that trust that you have in yourself. The video is linked right here. And if you spend enough time with me, I will literally brainwash you into believing that you can do anything, because you can. So now you have the exact thing standing between you and that belief this week. So go get your dreams, girl. Bye.